What's the worst power trip you've seen from a boss? Vance put a metal detector at our office door the same day he became manager, making us empty our pockets like criminals every morning. He locked our phones in a cabinet and kept the only key on a chain around his neck, treating us like children who couldn't be trusted. 2 weeks earlier, he'd fired Priya, who was 8 months pregnant, because she checked her phone at lunch when her husband texted that she was bleeding. Phones turn workers into zombies, Vance said while staring at his own tablet, missing how stupid he sounded. He'd walk around with a beeping wand, catching people trying to hide devices, and once made our new intern Tamika take off her fitness tracker in front of everyone. My mom was dying from cancer, getting worse every day, but I had no way to know if she was okay, so I'd hide in the supply closet and bite my hand to stop from screaming. The worst part was watching Vance brag to the big bosses about how much more work we were getting done, preparing his fancy presentation for when they'd visit to decide if he should run the whole region. Everything changed when Martin, the guy who cleaned our building at night, found me shaking in the kitchen after everyone went home. His grandson had gotten hit by a car 6 months ago, and Martin couldn't answer when the hospital called because of this same stupid rule, so the kid died alone. He pulled out a silver key and showed me he could open the phone cabinet whenever he wanted, then told me he'd been leaving the back door unlocked at 9 every night. Soon everyone knew through secret notes we'd stick under keyboards. Blue meant someone's kid was sick. Yellow meant parent problems. Red meant real emergency. I kept track of who needed to check their devices in a notebook I hid in the women's bathroom ceiling tiles, writing down every person's emergency contact schedule. Lamont had to know if his dad's heart medicine was working, because the doses kept changing. Yuki needed updates from her son's school about his seizures that happened randomly. And Jorge was waiting to hear if his sister's brain surgery went okay after 3 failed attempts. We'd sneak in after dark like thieves, grab our devices for 5 minutes to check messages, then put them back exactly where they were so nothing looked different. Some nights 12 people would show up, all desperate for news about their families, taking turns while someone watched the door. Vance never knew because he left at 5 sharp every day to go taste expensive wine and tell everyone how smart he was about grapes. 3 big executives came on a Thursday to watch Vance and decide about his promotion. He was showing them around at 2 in the afternoon, talking about his phone-free workplace, with slides about how great everything was since he banned devices. His assistant Celia kept looking at the locked cabinet because she knew Vance's daughter Skylar was taking her driving test today. The front desk phone rang over and over, but Vance ignored our receptionist waving her arms because he was too busy explaining why phones were evil. Celia screamed across the room that Skylar was in the hospital after a bad crash and might not make it. Vance ran to the cabinet and pulled on it, but the lock was stuck because he hadn't opened it in weeks. Just yelled at us to put our devices away every morning. He yanked on the metal door so hard it bent, crying about his little girl while the executives stared at him like he was crazy. That's when Martin walked in with his cleaning cart and unlocked it with his secret key, saving the day even though Vance had treated him like dirt for months. Vance grabbed his phone to find 23 missed calls from his wife, who was screaming that the doctors needed permission for emergency surgery, but the window had passed. The executives looked at each other and wrote something down while Vance fell on the floor, understanding what he'd done to all of us. When Vance came back the next day, every single person had their phone sitting on their desk as a protest. The executives had already decided to give the promotion to someone from the Atlanta office who actually trusted grown adults with technology. I showed him my notebook with 81 times people missed emergencies because of his rule, including 4 deaths where workers couldn't say goodbye to dying family members, 2 miscarriages where husbands couldn't comfort their wives, and 1 suicide that might have been stopped if the person could have answered their therapist's call. Vance read every single entry while his face turned white, seeing all the pain he'd caused because he wanted to feel powerful. His daughter lived but couldn't talk for a month, and when she could, she said, "Other dads answer when their kids need them." The company made him write a new policy letting people check for emergencies, but everyone already hated him too much to care.